Greetings, gaming historians, and welcome to Lord of Lore, where we break down the lore and history of our favorite games and fantasies. Today, we're going to be exploring the world of comeback cult classic, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. As many of you who have played the game may know, Reckoning has a deep, rich fantasy world created by famed author and writer R.A. Salvatore. There's already tons of history to be found in the game through quests, dialogue, and in-game books, but if you dig deep enough, you'll soon find that the world is even bigger than one would realize at first glance. Today, we're going to be looking at one of the biggest aspects of the world's lore, and that is fate, and by extension, the Great Cycle. Now, warning for those who would like to experience the game on their own, there are spoilers ahead. So then, what is fate? As local fate weaver Agarth explains, fate is the will of the gods, and all mortals have their own fate in the grand tapestry of time. So what does this mean? It literally means that everything in the world of Amalur is predestined. A person will die at this time in this way because of fate. An adventure will succeed or fail because of fate. And a war will be won or lost because of fate. Fate is the destiny in which all beings are forced to live, and no beings understand fate greater than the mysterious Fae. Walking embodiments of pure magic, the Fae serve fate by serving the Great Cycle. Just as the seasons change in a never-ending cycle, the Fae die and are reborn to serve a certain purpose in their life. Warriors will be reborn warriors, kings will be kings, and so forth. By serving the Great Cycle, a Fae's purpose in life is set as soon as he or she is reborn. However, fate and the Great Cycle take a strange twist during the Crystal War, when the Fae of the Winter Courts rise against the mortal races of Amalur and halt the Great Cycle. So is fate really the grand cosmic plan that the Fate Weavers make it out to be? Not if the Fateless One has anything to say about it. From the beginning of the game, the players take control of the Fateless One, a dead mortal who has been reborn in the Well of Souls, the great creation of the gnome scholar Fomor's Hughes. Not only is the Fateless One unbound by fate, but she even has the ability to change others' fates and even absorb them to increase their own power. How is this possible? As we find out, the Fateless One was created by the great dragon Tirnoch, an ancient godlike Fae who was imprisoned thousands of years ago by the ancient Alfar. Though not a god, she twisted fate to create the Fateless One, hoping the reborn hero would return with their collected fate power to free Tirnoch from her prison. But something interesting about fate happens when Tirnoch is finally defeated. Fate seems to completely disappear. According to Agarth and the other Fate Weavers, they are no longer able to read the fates of others. How can this be if fate is the will of the gods? To understand this question, we need to look at context both in and out of the game, and in this case that's the cancelled MMO set within Amalur, Project Copernicus. In an unfinished trailer, the narrator explains that the world exists in an infinite cycle of destruction and rebirth. This would indicate the Great Cycle exists not only for the Fae and the seasons, but existence as a whole. And where do the souls for the New World come from? The Well of Souls. Now wait a minute. How can the Well of Souls, the project of a gnome scholar that seemed to be completed only because of the fate-breaking powers of Tirnoch, have a part to play in the grand scheme of creation? It would seem that the gods, or whatever force drives the events of Amalur, somehow incorporated Tirnoch's plan into their own in order to create the Well of Souls and bring Amalur into a new age. That would mean that fate, at least the one we understand in the game of Reckoning, is not strictly a force of the gods, but rather the will of the mighty Tirnoch. Because of this, I am led to believe that fate, rather than being some cosmic, unchangeable law, is in fact actually a special type of power or magic that can be changed, transformed, and even destroyed by powerful figures such as Tirnoch and the Fateless One. It would seem that the individual predestined fates of Amalur citizens was a result of Tirnoch's powers, not the will of the gods. So what does this mean for the future of Amalur? It means that fate might not actually be dead. While the destinies created by Tirnoch might have been lifted, fate still seems a present and powerful magic that may yet have a role to play in the future of Amalur. Even in the DLC of Reckoning, we see figures such as Deadkale and Anakatos who have special roles that seem to derive from the power of fate energy, meaning fate is not just limited to the gods. What this means for the future events of Amalur is something we can only guess, but I believe fate is still a powerful weapon that may come into play. What do you think? Do you think we may see some form of fate in any upcoming DLCs or sequels? Do you have your own thoughts of what fate might be? Leave your own thoughts in the comment section below, and remember to drop a like and subscribe so my channel can grow. Feel free to comment what you would like to see next. New videos every week. God bless.